brain are two different entities. Although the mind is separate from the brain, they are what? Interconnected, meaning they are one. We are our mind. Consciousness is a phenomenon of the mind. The mind is energy. It's spiritual, huh? But listen, it says what? Without the mind, the corporality wouldn't have motion. So when we look in the etymon at energy, saying the mind is energy, it says what? Force of expression. Motion is a what? It's an expression, huh? A mind in action is a mind in motion. Motion is what? Motion is expression. And the expression of an entity is called what? Faith is, it's called spirit. When you look in the Owaspy glossary and you go to the word spirit, you pull it up and it says spirit means the expression of a what? Of an entity. For example, how one expresses and what is expressed are the result of the state of the spirit. Huh? We've covered earlier on in the presentation that we are products of the radiant energy, the light of the conscious mind of the great spirit. That was the very first thing that we learned. Energy is what? It's an emission. The emission of energy, expression. The emission of energy is expression. Thus, we are all expressions of what? We are all expressions of the great spirit. Remember, the great spirit said this. The great spirit said that its light, its spiritual illumination, its energy, its spirit, its mind is its very self. Does that mean that our conscious mind is our very self also? Okay, well, let's go in the Owaspy and Acts book of being 125. What does it say? S said, I am within your Kapor. When your Kapor molders into dust, behold, I am the S man. What? The spiritual man. What is the spiritual man? The what? Your real self. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let's read that again. S said, I am within your what? Your Kapor. When your Kapor molders into dust, behold, I am what? The S man, your what? Your real self. I am your spirit. And like a planted seed, I dwell within your Kapor. Huh? What is the connection between life, spirit, and consciousness? Look at life. Life means animated corporeal substance. That's life. Animated corporeal substance. What is spirit? Spirit is life. You get life right there in the etymon of spirit. It says life, the animating or vital principle in man and animals. But then when you look at consciousness, consciousness is what? Sense of being active or awake. Active is what? Being animated. Being awake is what? Being aware. Having life, having existence, huh? Sense of active, awake, endowed with active what? Active what? Active mental faculties, meaning abilities. Book of Jehovah 5:3, man is saying this. Tell me, oh great spirit, tell me, oh creator, where did life come from? This unseen within me that is what? This unseen within me that is what? Conscious of being. Conscious of being. Huh? Conscious is mind, is energy, is motion, is action, is expression, is spirit, is life, and are not dependent on corpore to exist. I'm gonna say that one more time. Consciousness is mind, is energy, is motion, is action, is expression, is spirit, is life, and are not dependent on corpore to exist. In fact, we've covered that it's corpore that depends on these qualities to give it value.
File your taxes 100% free in the app if you didn't use us last year. Just file with TurboTax Do-It-Yourself by February.
Now remember this. Remember earlier, we just read this. Remember the article above made a claim that there would be no conscious experience without the brain. The article above said they made a claim that there would be no conscious experience without the brain. But how could there be no conscious experience without the brain if jellyfish are conscious animals and have no brain? Huh? Jellyfish are conscious animals and have no brain. Huh? Come on, y'all. There's levels to this. There's levels to this, y'all. You see the article? It says jellyfish are smarter than you think. This is a recent article, just about a year. September 22nd, 2023. It's a year-old article. It says jellyfish are more advanced than once thought. A new study from the University of Copenhagen has demonstrated that Caribbean box jellyfish can learn at a much more complex level than ever imagined. And guess what? Right here it says, despite only having 1,000 nerve cells and what? No centralized brain. What is we dealing with? It has no centralized brain. It says what? And look at the next statement, y'all. It says the finding changes our fundamental understanding of the brain and could enlighten us about our own mysterious brains. Look, they still trying to figure it out. They still What does it mean to learn, y'all? To learn, it means to gain knowledge or understanding of a skill in by study, instruction, or experience. These things are learning and have no brain, but it's conscious. It has intellectual power, it has the capacity for knowledge. To learn is to acquire knowledge. To have knowledge means to have intellect. To have intellect means to have a mind. To have a mind is to have consciousness, thus proving that the mind isn't the physical organ called the brain, and that a brain isn't required for consciousness. But let's take this a step further. Let's take this a step further with this jellyfish. Book of Jehovah, chapter 5, verse 4 states, Jehovah heard the words of man, and he answered him, saying, let a sign be given to man so that he may comprehend Simu. Now, we're not going to get into Simu today. But look, and so the great spirit calls the jellyfish, and the green scum of the water to be permanently coming forth in all ages. Pay attention to this. Cause the jellyfish to be permanently coming forth in all ages. What is an age? An age is a length of an existence extending from the beginning to any given time. So that means that the jellyfish has been here since the beginning of the creation of animals on the earth. Check this out. So that man can understand the age of Simu, when the earth and the shores by the water and the waters also were covered over with commingled atmosphere and corporeal substance. The substance was called Simu because by my presence, the great spirit quickened into life, and in that way he made all the living, both the vegetable and the animal worlds. But not that Simu is a jellyfish or the green scum of the water, for in this day the earth does not produce Simu abundantly. Nevertheless, what the jellyfish and the green scum of water are signs of that which was in that day of the earth, the time when the creator had created the living, the vegetable and the animal kingdoms. Okay, pay attention to this, right? Before we get to the source. The great spirit created the jellyfish to be coming forward in all ages, meaning the jellyfish has been here since the very beginning of the creation of the animal world. What do sources say? Check out this source from Wired magazine website. It says what? It says this jellyfish is the earth's oldest animal. Scientists have made a groundbreaking discovery that points to the identification of the first animal. What? How did the WASP get this information? Scientists have made a groundbreaking discovery that points to the identification of the first animal, a type of what? A type of jellyfish, to have lived on Earth approximately 700 million years ago, according to recent study published in the scientific journal Nature. This is a modern day discovery, huh? How did Owaspy know about the jellyfish being the oldest living animal in 1881? Notice the article is calling a jellyfish an animal. So if a jellyfish is an animal, even though it has no brain, but a neural network, would that make the jellyfish a conscious being if animals are conscious? Watch. This is a recent article that states, now look at this headline for a minute. This is a recent article that states this. It says insects and other animals have consciousness, experts declare. Now I'm going to be honest with y'all. I never for once thought in my life that animals and insects and living things were not conscious. I never knew that scientists didn't think that animals weren't conscious. The new declaration signed by who biologists and what philosophers formally embraces that view. It reads in part, the empirical evidence indicates at least a realistic possibility of conscious experience in all vertebrates, including all reptiles, amphibians, and fishes, sea creatures, and many invertebrates, including at minimum cephalopod, mollusks, decapod, crustaceans, and insects. Look at that. Look, inspired by the recent research findings that describe complex cognitive behaviors in these and other animals. The document represents a new consensus, and suggests that researchers may have overestimated the degree of neural complexity required for what? For consciousness. That's right there in Quantum Magazine. That's the source. Uh-oh. Key point. They underestimated the neural complexity required for consciousness. Let's get the chat involved. Let's get the chat involved real quick. How many of y'all really needed these so-called scientists? How many of y'all, and be honest, put a 1 in the chat. If you really needed these so-called scientists to tell you that animals and insects and living things were conscious, put a 1 in the chat. If you really needed them to tell you that, put a 1 in the chat. If you did not, and you just knew on the presence of life on Earth that these things were conscious, put a 4 in the chat for me. If you just knew they were conscious. If you didn't know, put a 1 in the chat. Don't be ashamed.
Achieving your goals takes work. First Form is committed to providing world-class supplements to help fuel you. You're going to take some hits. You're going to get knocked down.